Give me one reason to stay here, and I'll turn right back around. Give me one reason to stay here, and I'll turn right back around. Said I don't wanna leave you lonely. You gotta make me change my mind. Baby, I've got your number, and I know that you got mine. You know that I called you, I called too many times. You got to call me, baby. You can call me anytime. You got to call me. Give me one reason to stay here, and I'll turn right back around. Give me one reason to stay here. Oh, I'll turn right back around. Said I don't want to leave you lonely. You better make me change my mind. We are the ones who don't know what we're fighting for. Give us a gun and send us all off to war. We are the ones who grow up in violent homes. We are the ones who don't know what's right or wrong. I know. We are the ones who were born into war. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck no more. No more. We are the ones who don't know why we're losing score. Give them a badge so they could send us to the morgue. Yeah, we are the ones who are scared to walk out the door. We are the ones who don't know what we're dying for. I know. We are the ones who were born into war. We are the ones who
Warning: this podcast features adult subject matter, adult language, and things not meant for children to hear. Viewer discretion is advised. You've been warned.
There once was a tall man from Venus who loved to show people if it's Thursday. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of appropriate ages, to the latest episode of the I'm No Joe podcast, the show where every armchair quarterback can feel like Eddie Bravo. Today, as like most days, I have got a glorious panel here with me to break down all these shit-talking and shenanigans, the fight announcements and fuckeries that has tripled out the MMA pipeline since we saw you wonderful folks last. Before we get into all that fun and fuckery, though, first off, gentlemen, how the fuck you doing over there?
Another lovely day in paradise. Not gonna lie, kind of glad we had a week off last week. It was kind of fucking needed.
It was well needed. I agree.
Yeah, I gotta agree too. I miss fights all the time, man, but it actually didn't feel that weird last weekend not having fights. Wish we're getting better fights this weekend, but there are some fun ones.
Yeah,
Next
absolutely
weekend's
agree.
gonna be a lot fucking better. Next month's gonna be a lot better. We're gonna get on a roll, but we're back.
Yeah, unfortunately, it is another fucking hangover card, but luckily, it is the last hangover card and the last time we will see the UFC Apex until September, I believe, or mid-August. Like, they're actually getting out. The UFC is getting out and doing the goddamn thing on the road again. So we'll get into all that fun and fuckery a little bit later on here. First and foremost, we are going to kick things off the way that we like to around here with a little bit of news and recent events, fight confirmations, fight cancellations, rumors that have been officially confirmed or denied, relevant shit like that in the combat sports world we feel you folks need to know about. Obviously, with having a week off, we do have a little bit here, so I'm going to try and run through it. And again, this is obviously not all the news that has happened in the last 2 weeks. This is just the juiciest bits. Some of the more taboo things that I just don't want to talk about on air, or some of the things that just don't really need to be spoken about out loud, or over on the I'm No Joe Discord server. Link to that is running through the bottom of the screen here if you are watching this on YouTube, or it is in the description, or whether you are listening to this live anywhere, it is down there. Please feel free to hop over there and check that out as well. First and foremost, last 2 weekends ago now, Paul Craig versus Rodolfo Velato was scrapped the night of the fight. Turns out we found out now that it was because Velato had herpes. Literally, not a joke, not an exaggeration. He had a herpes outbreak right before the fight and was not cleared by the doctors. Apparently, everything is since cleared up. And they rebooked the fight for UFC Atlanta going down in June 14th, a couple weeks from now. So there is that, good, bad, or otherwise. I believe that is the first time we've had a herpes rebooking in the UFC. So there's one for the record books. Check that off your 2025 bingo card. The one good thing I will say that did come out of the card 2 weekends ago was we got a first in women's history. Luana Santos got the first Americana by a woman in professional MMA. There have been a couple in some regional promotions, some B-League promotions. She was the first one in, at least in the UFC side of things, to ever pull off an Americana submission victory. That was a hell of a match if you watched it. Not the way I think any of us thought it was going to go until that last little sprawl, and then hi fucking yeah, and it was all she wrote. So good on her. Well done, Luana Santos. The bad thing that came out of that card, though, that I would be remiss if we didn't mention, was we got the official retirement of one Jose Aldo. He has since confirmed he is officially retired. He is done with fighting. He cannot devote any more of his life to it, and that is understandable, but extremely disheartening, considering basically 3 of his last 4 fights he was robbed out of victories that he should have had if they were going to force him on that path, but he should have realistically gone right to a fucking title shot at 135 pounds. So that being said, we do always prefer when a fighter decides to hang up their gloves and they are still able to legibly sign their own name and tie their own shoes, as opposed to the alternative. So as much as it does suck, I promise you Jose Aldo is going to be just fine without fighting in his life. He has so many fucking avenues and doors open to him right now. It's not even funny. He has nothing to worry about, but it just sucks to see the end of his official career come in such shitty circumstances as the last couple matches that we saw him in. So, tip of the cap to Jose, the King of Rio will live on forever. And I know that there's at least one person out there who is still to this day campaigning that the UFC should make hashtag Jose got robbed t-shirts or hoodies or sweatshirts or something like that. And I can't disagree. Justice for Jose. That being said, moving forward, we have a pair of switch-ups for this Saturday's card here. We got Marquiel Medeiros officially out. We now have Balaji Oki versus Michael Aswell making his debut Aswell this weekend. Congrats to both gentlemen for taking short notice matchups here. And then the other side of that, Jeremiah Wells is out. So Andreas Gustafsson will now make his UFC debut against Trevin Giles. Going to be interesting to see what both of those gentlemen are able to do on short notice here. Moving forward here a little bit, we did get this announcement 2 weeks ago, but it does tie into this one here because we got official confirmation Patchy Mix has been signed to the UFC and will be making his official UFC debut in 2 weeks, June 7th at UFC 316 in New Jersey against Mario Batista. I have zero doubt in my mind that he is going to absolutely fucking dog walk Batista for however long that fight takes, and putting him on a pay-per-view to make his debut against a guy that he is going to fuck up. Brilliant marketing by the UFC. Brilliant marketing by the UFC. So there is that to look forward to. The following week, we talked about it a little bit earlier, UFC Atlanta, June 14th, got a very high-profile fight added to it. I guess I should say got confirmed. The fight rumor has been out there for literally a month and change now, but it was officially confirmed this week. Cody Garbrandt will be coming back to the UFC in Atlanta to take on Hayani Barcelos. I mean, if you were going to throw the guy a softball as easy as you possibly fucking could, a dude who is known for grappling and has no striking is the guy to give Cody to try and let him make a comeback with. So we'll see if Atlanta can be where Cody turns it all around or if Hayani just hands that kid his walking papers. Because if Barcelos takes him down, there ain't much left the UFC can do with him at this point, realistically. That being said, originally scheduled as a 2-day event, Glory 100 is now going to be a 1-day, 16-hour extravaganza. They have 4 title fights on this epic day of fights, as well as an entire 8-man heavyweight Grand Prix taking place all on one day. There was apparently a scheduling issue, and they decided rather than scrapping the whole event, they were going to smash all those goddamn fights into one day. So if UFC Atlanta isn't your cup of tea, Glory will have you covered all fucking day on June 14th with kickboxing of the highest fucking order in all kinds of weight classes with multiple belts up for grabs. So, bold strategy, Cotton. We'll see how it plays out for him. If this works, this could be fucking huge. If it doesn't, this is going to be one of the most painful all-day slogs any combat sports organization has ever put on. So this is very much a make or break moment for Glory here. Either they're going to catch mainstream attention and get some recognition for the craziness they're doing, or they are going to trip over their own dick so hard we might not hear from them for a while. We will see. We have finally got confirmation. After his release from the UFC, Jairzinho Rozenstruik is officially putting the gloves back on, or, well, actually, not putting the gloves on in this particular situation here. Jairzinho Rozenstruik will be taking on Devin Schwann in the main event of Dirty Boxing 2, also happening June 14th. Mike Perry's Bare Knuckle Boxing with Elbows organization is putting on their second official professional event, and they're going to have Biggie Boy headline that motherfucker. So, like I said, if the UFC isn't your cup of tea on June 14th, you will have plenty of options. That particular weekend's combat sports menu is going to be thicker than a bowl of oatmeal, I'm telling you now. We have wondered this for a while, and we now have official confirmation, at least for the time being. We finally know where he fits into all this. That's right. Kevin Lee has officially signed with the PFL and will be making his promotional debut in the main event of PFL number 5, taking place June 20th against a gentleman by the name of Godsi Rabadanov. So if you are familiar with the PFL Bellator side of the MMA world here, you will absolutely recognize that name, and you will know that they are not doing Kevin Lee any fucking favors in his promotional debut over there. So that, I can't say the whole card might be worth watching, but that particular matchup might be worth putting a set of eyes on, because I have a feeling it could get real fucking interesting. We got a pair of announcements here pertaining to UFC 317 International Fight Week, June 28th, down in Las Vegas. The first one, a fight announcement here. I am fucking stoked for this fight. I think it's going to be a fucking spectacular matchup. T-Rex himself getting back at it. Terrence McKinney taking on Slava Claus. Hell of a matchup. The fact that they're putting it on International Fight Week makes it that much bigger, in my opinion. Very fucking cool. The other set of news we got from UFC 317 is kind of a little bit of a head scratcher, so to speak here. We got confirmation directly from both sides that Ilia Topuria has officially split with his longtime head coaches during the camp, and obviously mid-camp because we're just about a month out from the event for UFC 317. Apparently, before he fought Volkanovski, he had moved from the city in Spain where he and his coaches have lived and operated out of to Madrid, where he is basically essentially establishing his own brand to try and set up an El Matador gym chain with his brother. And obviously having their own, full-time fucking business and fight camp running out of their city, they couldn't just up and move everything to a whole new fucking city and take it with them. So Ilya said, well, cool, it's been fun, have a good one, I'm going on my merry motherfucking way. So in the month, essentially, leading up to Ilia Topuria getting his shot at the lightweight belt in the UFC, he has decided now, of all times, he is going to split with his fucking head coaches he has had for decades now. So I'm not sure exactly what kind of an impact that is going to have. He's apparently retained one of his main striking coaches and his brother as a training partner. Other than that, they essentially created an entire new camp around Ilya in the last week for his first title shot up a weight class happening in 4 weeks. Ill-advised is about the best way I can describe that move right now. There's some other adjectives I could use, but we'll wait until the fight plays out to see if those would have been apropos or not. Moving forward, July 19th from the Big Easy, New Orleans, UFC 318 got a smattering of fights added to it here. A couple of very interesting ones. Louisiana native Carly Judas taking on Nicole Kalari. Interesting match to see there, adding Louisiana folks to the NOLA card. Very smart of the UFC. Kyler Phillips taking on Vinicius Oliveira. That is going to be a fucking spectacular. That's a couple of little firecrackers who are going to go apeshit on that card. I'm telling you right now, that's going to be a fun one. Jimmy Crute finally stepping back into the cage, taking on Marcin Prachnio. Very interesting matchup in my opinion as well. And then the one that I think everyone is the most excited about right now, Michael Johnson taking on Daniel Zellhuber on that the 318 card, July 19th in New Orleans. That card is shaping up pretty fucking nicely. The UFC is stacking these summer cards out way heavier than they have stacked out the beginning of the cards beginning of this year's pay-per-view cards. Couple weeks after that, August 9th will be UFC Vegas 109. That is when they are coming back. So they will essentially be out of the Apex from after this weekend until August 9th. We got that whole Excuse me. Seven. Yeah. Take that. We have the main event. Excuse me. Fuck. UFC Vegas 109 has the main event officially confirmed. Fluffy Hernandez taking on Roman Dolidze. Fucking shit. Whew. Okay, let's try that again. Fluffy Hernandez taking on Roman Dolidze. Sorry for the Kermit moment. Apparently, air is stuck in my fucking throat. That was weird. Main event for Vegas 109. The next time they will be back to the UFC Apex after this weekend. August 16th, the following week, is officially 319 UFC Chicago. Very, very exciting fight added to it this week. Tim Elliott taking on Kai Asakura. I am fucking excited for that fight for goddamn sure. Last one I've got for here. UFC has officially confirmed this week that August 23rd, the week after Chicago, they are returning for a UFC Fight Night Shanghai, China. As of right now, 0 fights announced for that card. They are just announcing that it is happening. No fights just yet, but bet your ass once they start letting those go, we will let you guys know. That being said, that is all I have got for news this week. Either one of you gentlemen have anything that I might have missed?
No.
All right. Well, in that case, that will bring us to the point here. If you've been watching combat sports as long as some of us have been watching combat sports, then you tend to learn what you like to watch and when it comes on, how to watch it, and you start to develop yourself a set of metaphorical blinders, if you will. Start to lose the punchykicky forest for the trees. Luckily for us here on the show, we've got ourselves a bona fide young person out there ever so diligently and delicately fingering the pulse of the MMA world to help keep us abreast of all the names that are going to be names before they even are names, and a little thing that we call slows, cans, and contenders.
Appreciate you, brother. All right, so like always, gotta start off with the fucking trash. Get that shit out the way. There's a good little bit of it, but we've got some fun fights this weekend. It's not the worst, but the Apex cards are always pretty soulless, man. It always feels like backyard events. I think Dan Hooker's little backyard brawl thing that he did, his tournament, is cooler than fuck compared to what we're going to see at the Apex this weekend. That says a lot in my eyes, but we do have some fun shit I'll get to in a minute. We got Rayan Dos Santos versus Elise Hardeline. I gotta throw those two ladies in the fucking trash, man. This is just a can versus can fight. It's probably the worst one on the card. I think it's the first fight of the night, is the way they're setting it up, which is kind of good. Get it out of the way real quick, but it's also not going to be a good way to kick shit off. Both of them have already fought a couple times in the UFC and looked pretty shit. I know Rayan Dos Santos, she's the younger of the two, 29 years old, really back and forth her whole career, 14-8 record, and she lost to Puja Tomar in her last fight. And we saw how that girl looked earlier this year in her second go of it in the UFC. She is worse than green, man. She is probably never gonna be worth a damn, which is sad because you want to see some fighters from India make it well and like represent, be able to represent. It's one of those countries that like biggest population in the world, always been known for fighting. In all honesty, they've got a lot of great fighters throughout history, but not in the UFC. Just it's kind of like Japanese fighters. We've never had a Japanese champion, but you had pride and everything of the sort. It's just been that weird situation. Um, but I think those two ladies are just going to stink it up. Another fight I honestly think is going to stink. Maybe Zach Reese can pull some fucking finish out of his ass, but I think the Zach Reese and Dusko Todorovic fight is another one you could just throw in the trash. You could maybe say Zach Reese could be a contender. Maybe the kid could have some comeback. He's won a couple in the UFC, but he's also got knocked out a couple times. He's kind of get or get got, but don't think he's got much in his future. In all honesty, throwing Ramiz Brahimaj. I know he got a nice knockout win in his last go, man, but I still think that the dude's not worth a ton. I do think, on the other hand, Billy Goff is one of my contenders. I'm excited to see how the kid does against Brahimaj coming off his own first round knockout. Billy Goff, he's still young, 26, coming off a loss in his last one, but fighting Trey Waters. I think Trey is a true contender that I'm excited to see. He's just not active enough. He hasn't fought in a fat minute at this point, so I'm wondering what's up with him and when we're going to see him again. But excited to see Goff. I think Brahimaj can go in the garbage. I think another fight as a whole you can go in the garbage with is the Jordan Levitt, Kurt Hollabaugh. I mean, I like what Jordan Levitt tries to do with his personality. I could really never. I could have gone my whole life without seeing him twerk and all that shit. But at the end of the day, the dude does have wife and kids. He's not really gay. He's a big troll, what he likes to do, not our cup of tea. The guy's a pretty good grappler, too. He's actually shown he can fight as well. In last fight, he got a knockout, I think, right? Wait, no, he lost to Chase Hooper his last fight, but he did get a knockout win after that loss to Patty. And so it's been a while since he's fought too. It was like November 2023. He didn't fight at all last year. I don't know if he was injured or whatnot. Didn't look into any of that, but I think I'm leaning towards Levitt. He's probably going to get the win. He's fucking 29 years old. He's good at grappling. Hollabaugh's 38, dude's 1-5 in his UFC career. I don't see it going great for Hollabaugh, but at the same time, he's just what do you call him? The journeyman that's got experience, and Jordan Levitt's not a great fighter, so maybe it's just a really boring fight. I just throwing it in the garbage just because of that. I don't think it's going to be something you'd want to watch. Ketlin Vieira, another one. I didn't want to throw the fight as a whole in the garbage because I got Macy Chiasson as one of my contenders this weekend. Yeah, I feel like if she goes out and has a good performance against Ketlin, and this bitch she's like Myra Buena Silva to me. That's why I'm throwing Ketlin in the garbage. Her last few fights over the last few years at this point, she just looks like she doesn't give a fuck. She goes out there and just looks like she doesn't want to be there, whether it's she's afraid to be there or she just does not have a love for the sport. She is literally just going in there and trying to get her paycheck. What she does not care about trying to get a win. When she tries to get a win, it's that good old take a chick down to the ground and hold her down. She doesn't do shit with it. There's just nothing special about Vieira. She's not great, but she does try to fight. There's not a lot of ladies that'll go out there and truly try to get into a scrap. Macy will do that. Like I said, she's not great. I don't see a fucking title run in her career, but she's technically top five. Well, I think they're both top five in the bantamweight division. Whoever wins this technically puts themselves in a position. Amanda's saying she was going to come back. They're not getting a title shot, but they keep themselves in a potential picture, right? If she has an impressive performance, Macy's got a chance. So she's my contender there. I also got Alan Nascimento as a contender. The dude's had a decent career. He's had some rough moments. He's got a ton of finishes in his career. He's a good grappler. A lot of these flyweights are exciting, in my opinion. At any point in time, have the potential to pop themselves back into the rankings or climb up the rankings a little bit. Shit can always really fluctuate in this division because, like, so many guys are pretty even keel. It's been pretty fun. Like, you think about the top go of it, Brandon Royval, Pantoja, Brandon Moreno. These guys have been fighting each other, whooping each other's ass back and forth for the past handful of years, staying at the top. So Alan Nascimento does something special this weekend. Maybe he can pop himself back in there. It's 3-1 in the UFC so far. I did put Rafael Filho more towards my contender. I just think the kid's a little more talented. I think he's definitely a better grappler. He's looked more exciting, even though he's 2-1 in the UFC. He's had one less fight. I'm excited for that fight as a whole. Just, you could put that fight in the contender spot. That flyweight fight is one of them. I feel like we might actually get a decent fight. I talked about Billy Goff as my contender. You got Bruno Lopez. This guy did have to get a second chance at the contender series, but his first shot at contender series getting knocked out is the only loss in his career. Kid's got some knockout power. Coming into the light heavyweight division, we need some new blood, some excitement here. Dustin Jacoby is 37 here. Dude's not the greatest in the world. He was an okay boxer when he was in glory. Coming into the UFC, he's just been kind of back and forth. You know, he's gotten a couple of decent knockouts, but he's also gotten clipped himself. We'll see how Lopez can do. Andreas Gustafsson, I'm excited to see what this kid can do as well. But at the same time, I say kid, he's 34. That was the thing. I don't know why I called him a kid. He's 34. It's really hard to try to put potential contenders on dudes that are in their mid-30s coming in the UFC. But it might be one of the shining lights on this card is the biggest thing that I can say. We might get a finish out of him and Bruno Lopez. It's just the handful of exciting fights that we've got this weekend. I'm trying to put that spotlight on. The biggest one, co-main event, Gamrot versus Klein. This is a huge opportunity for Ludovic. The dude has not lost a fight for 7 straight now. He's had the draw, but he's looked decent. You know, he's had some fights where he's had some split decisions go his way to get the win, but I feel like he's a pretty well-rounded fighter. I think he's got a decent gas tank, but that's the biggest question. Can his gas tank handle Gamrot and what that dude does? I'm just excited for it. That fight that we got a couple years ago between Sarukian and Gamrot, like, just a lot of fights Gamrot's been in against Dariush and Dan Hooker in his last fight. The dude goes out there, he goes for it. He's no different than Marab. He's a crazy fucking Georgian. He does a decent job of mixing in some striking with his grappling. His gas tank's insane. I think Gamrot gets the win, but for Ludovic Klein to get an opportunity to crack into the rankings, but fighting a dude that's already in the top fucking 10 because nobody in the rankings will fucking fight Gamrot and he just wants to stay active. Huge opportunity for Klein. He wins this fucking fight. I don't think he automatically gets ranked in the top 10, but it sets him up for a big fight. The big problem is lightweight is what it is. There's so many of the old guys still loaded up here in the top rankings and so many dudes that refuse to fight upcoming guys. That's why welterweight's getting exciting, because we had some of those older dudes say, fuck it. They're real dudes. They take whatever fight they're given and they're getting their asses beat by the young kids. We're getting shit tons of awesome contenders and it's loading that division up. But co-main event's awesome. Main event as well. You got to throw that ladies main event. There's very few ladies fights that we get that are really exciting, really interesting coming into it. And especially when you get a main event. God damn it, both of these chicks are 26. I've wanted this fight for years at this point. But we've kind of been robbed of it for a few different situations, right? And Erin was definitely rising up a little faster at a point. Then Macy's been hurt. You know, she fucked up her ankle and then had a fucked up infection that's kept her out for a while. She's back, apparently healthy, right? She was supposed to fight last year. She fucking had to pull out because the illness popped back up. Um, like Aaron Blanchfield said, that's her worry is that she's going to pull out. I think we're going to get this fight. Macy's the one that's going to fight, though. Like we've seen Aaron struggle in her last couple fights already, getting into some tougher competition. She got her ass worked a little bit by Manon Fiorot. I don't know if she fully won that fight convincingly against Rose last year, but Rose has also been towards the end of her career. Um, it was kind of a back and forth close fight. It wasn't the greatest fight though. And she hasn't been exciting lately. That's the biggest thing. Erin was dominating chicks like the ass whooping she gave to Molly McCann and the dominating Jessica Andrade. She was doing some special things, working her way up, and it's kind of stalled out. Macy Barber is going to go out there, get in her face, and try to really fight her. If she can't get the takedowns, I think Macy's going to give her a lot of hell, and it makes it fun. It makes it interesting. Whoever fucking loses still has the opportunity to bounce back because they're both 20 fucking six. Both of them have shown good potential and had good starts to their career in the UFC so far. I'm excited for it. There's only a few fights to be excited for. I'm sure you boys will agree with most of what I said. A lot of it is trash. I feel like there's some bright lights, but co-main and main event are what really is bringing us in.
I'm really trying to find some sort of fresh air in this. After taking a week off, I'm thinking maybe I should have watched some other events prior to this because I didn't watch shit last weekend. Even though there were other things that were to be had last weekend, I didn't watch a goddamn thing. I legitimately took the week off of all MMA, and knowing that this is the week that I'm gonna come back and watch this, oh, kind of kicking myself in the ass because this is fucking bad. Um, I have to fully disagree with every women's fight on here. They can all go in the trash. Every goddamn one of them, from top to bottom. That opening fucking strawweight card, neither one of those girls are worth a damn. They're never going to see the light of day anywhere near the rankings. If anything, they're going to be entry level cans to be crushed by somebody else who actually is worth a damn. Hetlin Vieira has been a hot fucking mess. I have not yet, since Macy Chiasson has come into the UFC, been on that train at all. I don't think she's as good as everyone thinks she is. She just likes to move forward. That's it. And there's nothing wrong with fighting on the front foot. But if you're going to fight on the front foot, you have to make it look good. She does not make it look good. The women's bantamweight division, good fucking luck, ladies. Because it's not looking good. Oh, I gotta hit this right on the fucking head. The main event, air quotes for those of you who are just listening to this instead of actually watching, which I highly advise because then you don't have to stare at us. But Aaron Blanchfield is a takedown queen. That's it. If she doesn't get a takedown, she's fucked. We watched that happen during the Manon Fiorot fight. She's fucked if she can't get a takedown. Macy likes to punch fucking air. Barber likes to punch the air in front of somebody and pretend that she's an airbender and praying to God that that knocks them out. This is a boring ass fight. Macy Barber has never, since she's got into the UFC, been good with finding her range. It takes her for fucking ever. Bitch, you're 26-year-old. Your body isn't getting any taller. Your arms aren't getting any longer. You should know your fucking range by this point. If not, that tells me you're not in the gym doing enough sparring to be able to know your fucking range. Boring ass fight to me. Somebody's going to punch air. Somebody's going to try to take a takedown. Look, I'll say it. Macy Barber came in way overhyped. And look, for those of you who don't remember when she came in and was writing her next fucking, I'm gonna be 7-0 until she got fucking stopped. I'm just saying, you can't do shit like that and then punch the air in front of somebody and expect to keep a hype train. Get rid of that shit. Erin Blanchfield is not as good as everyone thinks she is. She, put her in a grappling event. She'll do great in one of those. She's never going to see a title in the UFC. Never. She is nowhere near good enough. To be honest, how she got a fucking top 5 ranking, I don't fucking know. I don't think she's good enough for the top 5. Although it could be because the flyweight division in the women's is pretty fucking wretched right now. I mean, it's not hard to get a fucking top 5 when the division as a whole is pretty weak. Same goes for Macy Barber. You had a whole fucking year and change off for injuries, illnesses, infections, whatever the fuck it is, and you're still ranked number 5. What does that tell you about that women's flyweight division? It's pretty goddamn weak. So we get a weak ass main event for a UFC fight night. You would figure with how poorly that the UFC did on booking International Fight Week so far, we would have gotten better main events on these fight nights. But no. Here we fucking are. Look, those are all fucking trash. In fact, the only thing I am excited to see is Bruno Lopez. And that's because, one, I just don't like Dustin Jacoby. I think he's been nothing but a fucking light heavyweight punching bag his entire fucking career. And it just came to fruition in the UFC where people could see he's really not that fucking good. Yeah, you were good enough to make the cut in, but you'll never be good enough to make the rankings. Bruno Lopez, the way he looked in his first outing, I think there's some potential to see him, even at 32 years old, make a run, but he's got to do it quick because he's only got about 3-4 years. Although, caveat to that statement is, barring he doesn't get fucking knocked out, light heavyweights tend to have a little bit more longevity than the smaller guys. The smaller guys take a lot more damage over time just because they can take a lot more because they're not getting hit as hard. But if the heavyweights and light heavyweights can avoid that damage, they can have some pretty long careers. There's a reason why you had guys like fucking Randy Couture coming back and fighting well into his fucking 50s. That's right, 50s. For those of you who are old enough to remember the early days of the UFC, he came back and won a title in his goddamn 50s.
Well, Arlovsky is damn near 50 and he's doing BKFC in a couple weeks, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. So a lot of those bigger guys, they can tend to have longer careers. So there is some light to be shed on Bruno Lopez as a younger fighter. And I'm saying younger not in the sense of age, but in his lack of experience. But best place in the world to get fucking experience quick, fast, and in a hurry is in the goddamn UFC. You're going to fight the people who legitimately belong being there, or people that they throw in front of you to go, here, practice beating this up before we put something in front of you that might beat you up. Another one that goes in trash, Zachary Reese, Disco Todorovic. Fuck that entire fight. Todorovic, how he's still in the UFC, I don't fucking know. And to be honest, Zachary Reese, not much better. The only people he's beaten so far in the UFC are guys that are subpar. And as much as I hate to say it, that includes the Cuban Missile Crisis. He is a subpar fighter. The best thing he ever had going for him was his shot at Miley Cyrus, and he screwed the pooch on that one. Now, the premier prelim, Fialo Nascimento, that should be a fairly good flyweight bout. In fact, that is my contender fight of the night. Because they both have some good potential. And to be honest, I think one of them will get a little bit of a better rocket push off of this, just because both of them have looked pretty good so far in their UFC career. And to be honest, both of those guys I could see making it into the rankings in the flyweight division. Maybe not top 10, but into the top 15. And God, how is Trevin Giles still in the UFC? You know, we had a long fucking running joke about a one Kevin Lee. Where does he fit into all of this? Trevin Giles is starting to be that fucking guy. Good on Andres Gustafsson coming in last minute to have his inaugural fight in the UFC. To be honest, I hope he beats Trevin Giles so that way they finally cut him. I don't have anything against Trevin Giles. He's just not that good, and he hasn't been. Not since they signed him, and there was never a flash where I went, "Oh my God, that guy has something." He's just been uh, he's a fighter. That's all I can say. And where do you even begin with fucking Jordan Levitt? That dude, he is a horse of a different color. He is his own box of crayons. You do you, boo boo. Look, he's by far the weirdest motherfucker in the UFC. Like, we've had some weird people in the past, but right now, Jordan Levitt is that fucking guy. He's up there with the weirdos. I mean, you go back and you look at things like when Mayhem Miller was in the fucking UFC. He's not quite that crazy, but he's fucking up there. He's Heath Herring crazy, I think. Because Heath Herring was a little fucking nuts. Granted, I'm making some really old references here, so if some of you guys may not understand those, and that's fine. That just means you need to go back and look at what I'm talking about. And Kurt Hollabaugh, he's never been good. He's just been a fucking punching bag. I think this is a good way to get Jordan Levitt back into the mix after having, what is it, like 14 or 15 months off. I don't know what caused him to be off for so long, although he was sure doing a lot of fucking podcasting, though, in the MMA circle. So, I mean, there is that. But I'm hoping that's a good out for after you're done fighting. Stay in the mix. He's a solid fighter. He's a good grappler, and obviously has knockout power because we've seen him knock people out. So that one, I'll say Jordan Levitt can be my solo contender on there. And then as far as the rest of the card, it's meh at best. I tried to find some good in here. I really did. But it's so fucking hard when you stack so much shit and you're asking me to find a fucking tiny little horsehair in this 10-ton pile of horse shit. I'm not going to find that one little hair. It's difficult. But caveat to all of that, we have fights again this week. So, win, lose, or draw, we get to watch somebody get punched in the face or the air punched in front of somebody's face. Either way, we're going to be right about some things, and I might be wrong about some things, and I'm okay with that. I'm just telling you how I feel about the card. I think it's fucking trash as a whole. There's a few little nuggets of something there. I won't call them goodness. I'll just say something.
Yeah. So I will say this. I'm willing to bet I am probably the only person you will hear make the statement I'm about to make. I am genuinely more interested in the prelims than I am anything on this main card.
Bruh.
I'll tell you why. If you look at the entirety of the main card, every single matchup looks glaringly apparent in how that fight is supposed to go. None of those fights look like they have the potential to be much of a surprise. You can pretty much tell, if not exactly, then very closely, how most of those fights on the main card are going to go. With the exception, I will say, of the main event, because both of those chicks suck, and there's no way to tell how bad that fight is going to suck as a whole. That being said, at least on the prelim cards, we've got 2 last-minute fights that were made within days of the event happening. We have a couple of nobodies who could suck, but could also potentially surprise us. We don't know yet. There's more what-if potential on the prelims than there is on the main card. I'm willing to bet everyone in our group will go at least 500 on the main card, if not higher. Prelims could be where things get dicey. If you're over into our Tapology group, which is I'm No Bookie, Group 965, however you need to search it, free, go join, let us know who you are, we'll kick your ass and prove it. We have receipts. That being said, this card as a whole is not interesting. This is a very, very good example of why we call the cards before and after pay-per-views hangover cards, because this is one of those cards that will be better as background noise while you're slipping Gatorade down your throat and putting your sunglasses a little bit tighter to your face than it would be if you were actively sitting in the crowd in the Apex watching this shit live. None of these fights are going to be great. Not a fucking one of them. There's some potential in this card for a lot of fun. There's a couple parts in this card that could be very fun. Overall, for the weekend, there's a whole lot of fun potential. But to find out about that, you have to go over to the I'm No Joe YouTube Shorts tab, because when I tell you guys about fights here, 25 people see them. When I post it as its own individual short, 3,000 people see it. I love you guys, but you can click the link over there and check that video out as well. The combat sports menu for the weekend is live and is running up the YouTube algorithm right now. Not that that's why we do that, but it's just a little bit easier over there. I will say I am slightly curious about the Jacoby versus Bruno Lopez fight. I'm right there with Galti. Fuck Dustin Jacoby. I've never been a fucking fan. I've never waved that flag. He could take his ass back to glory and go be boring there. He's wasting UFC time and money, in my opinion. And I hope Lopez knocks him the fuck out, as well as breathes some new life into the light heavyweight division. Honestly, I'm more excited to see which can dents the other in that co-main event than I am for the main event. I like Gamrot. I think he's fucking awesome. I think Ludovic Klein is interesting. I don't know how good he is just yet. I haven't really been able to gauge his skill level. He is fairly well-rounded, but we just haven't really seen him do a whole lot so far. So that fight has more interest to me than the main event. But I've got to say, as a whole, this is a very UFC Apex card overall. There's some potential fun to be had, but overall, it's just fights.
Yep, sad truth of it. The worst part, like I was mentioning earlier, Dan Hooker's backyard event was more exciting than this will be, just because of the lifelessness. They have some space, so they could literally just throw some fold-in chairs up in there, sell some fucking $50 tickets, and fill that shit up with like 500,000 people, and at least it'd be a crowd and some noise, a little pop, and it'd be a little more lively. Yeah, no. I hate that aspect of the Apex more than anything. No crowd just kills it all, but we do get fights, like Brother Meter said. I appreciate the opportunity to get to talk shit about them sometimes and try to put the positive light on it with you guys. Like, obviously, I'm the only one that really tried to put some positive spin on it. It is going to be rough. Hopefully, we get surprised. That's what I say a lot on my own podcast on fucking cards like this. So, you try to be as positive as you can, but it's like, I just hope I get surprised, man, because I know how it's really going to be, Appreciate you, boys.
Thank you very much, sir. Much appreciated. So that will bring us to the only segment of the podcast that does actually require its own individual disclaimer. if you will. me. Tapology.com in no way, shape, or form endorses, supports, or sponsors the I'm No Joe podcast. Yet. That being said, Tapology does let you make free accounts and make fantasy style MMA picks on their website. They even let you make groups on there, so we made one. We call it I'm No Bookie, all one word, or Group 965, however you need to find it. The group is open to the public. You are welcome and encouraged to make yourself an account, join the group, and let us know who the hell you are so we can hold your picks accountable with our picks in a little segment that we call Tapology with TJ.
Well, since we got that extra week off, we could go back in time 2 weeks. We're talking about the Burns Morales card, which, when we were going into that, I'm gonna go ahead and fucking eat my own fucking words here. And when I said I thought Burns had more in the tank, I was fucking wrong. I think Burns needs to hang him up. I love Gil Burns as a fucking human being. He's a great fucking individual. He's been great for the sport of MMA as a whole. His shit between him and Tate for years now has been fucking fantastic. Absolute gold. Like, the dude's a genuinely nice guy. The podcast he's on, even though I do not like his other host with him, he's solid. The dude's got plenty of opportunities outside of the cage. If he continues to fight, I hope he starts taking things more seriously than what he's doing right now, because I think that's really what's fucking him. But anyhow, now that I've been made to eat my own words, because I'll fully admit I did say that I thought he had more fucking in the tank, and there was a chance that he could put up a fight against Morales. Morales shut that shit down quick, fast, and in a fucking hurry. And just so everybody knows, that is the only actual fight I caught that Saturday, because we had a bunch of kids staying at my house for my son's birthday. So that was the only one I caught, because it was just late enough for me to be able to sneak away from the kids for a while. Now, with all that being said, right into it. Immediately, hats off to Christian. 9-11, correct, 530 points. Had a stellar fucking weekend. Took the top spot by a long shot. The next closest in our group was Donna with 8 correct, 465 points. Now, there was a bit of a little fight down at the bottom there, trying to fight for that bottom spot. To their credit, I say that both of them that were fighting over it, they were both well north of the 500 mark. So they were both over 50% on their picks. But somebody had to lose. That somebody just happened to be the meter. He hit that nice 400 number clean on the head with 7 of 11. Vindog squeaked him out by 15 points because he managed to call one semi-perfect. That was all it fucking took to get that extra little push over the top to not step on his dick. Said, Meter's going into the Grand Prix here, knowing that he just stomped on his balls the week before the Grand Prix starts. Let's see if he can pick those motherfuckers up off the ground and get his shit back together. I hope he does, so that way we have a nice, interesting Grand Prix. Speaking of which, because I didn't do it right away, I know you motherfuckers like free. Tapology is free. There's a link down below. There's something scrolling across the fucking screen. Go join. Make yourself a free account. Group 965. I'm no bookie. However you need to find it. Come join us. Let us know who you are if you want to be part of the mix. If you don't, and you just want to see where you stack up, that's fine too. But just know, if I figure out who you are in here, I'm going to call you out. So if you need to change your name up a little bit, it might be in your best interest. I'm just saying. And if you want to get in another the Grand Prix, you need to hurry the fuck up, because I think deadline is Friday. Yeah, time's a ticking. So, aka tomorrow. Those of you who are listening to this on the all audio version, Sorry, you missed your fucking chance. We let you know 2 weeks ago about that, and you had plenty of time. Now, with all of that being said, kudos to everybody in the group that week. We all did fantastic. The worst picks were 7 of 11 correct. At worst, we missed 4 picks as a group at a time. So, hats off to everybody. Christian just had the better of the weeks. He got 9 of 11, only missed 2. It's crazy to think that only 2 picks separate the bottom guy and the top guy in the group this week. Fan-fucking-tastic. Well done. Now, that brings us into this shit show of a week. I'm gonna be giving you the Caesars odds here because I think BetMGM has just given up on doing odds for fucking fights because I have not been able to find them lately. Now, as a whole, like I was saying, most of this card is kind of crap. And the odds very well reflect that because they are very much coin flippy for the most part. I'm just going to cover a couple of them that are a little wider than coin flippy. And I say just a little bit. When I mean just a little bit, I mean just a fucking little. We'll start here with the fucking opening women's fight. Brian Dos Santos and Alice Adderley, or Ardelian, excuse me. Alice coming in as a plus 220 underdog. Rihanna coming in as a minus 270 favorite. Not a super wide odd, but it's something. I'm also gonna hit on this one. Jordan Levitt, Kurt Holloway. Jordan Levitt, even with his, what is it, 13, 14 month, whatever, however many long extended period he's off, coming in as a minus 250 favorite over Kurt Holloway and a plus 200 on the underdog side. Not terrible, not great. One last one that's fairly wide, and that's the Dusko Todorovic and Zachary's. They've got Reese coming in as a minus 240 over a plus 200 in Dusko coming in as the underdog. Now there are 2 that have a little bit wider odds, so I'll knock these ones out a little as well. Michael Aswell and Boljai Okai or Oki. I don't probably murdering his name even though it's fucking 3 letters.
Balaji Oki.
Yeah, there you go. Okie. Okie dokie. As well, coming as a plus fucking 290 underdog. Ogie coming in as a minus 370 favorite. Not super wide odds, but it's one of the wider odds on the card. In fact, there is one that has the exact same set of wider odds on the card, and that is Billy Ray Goff and Razim Brahimaj. Then we got Billy Ray coming in as a minus 370 favorite. Ramiz coming in as a plus 290 underdog. That one kind of makes sense. It adds up. But those 2 are the widest odds on the card. Those 2 fights. So pretty coin flippy. There's a reason I said this card is kind of shit. And it's not necessarily because of the odds, but the odds are adding up. You're not going to make a lot of money off this card or even have the opportunity to. Pardon me. Oh, as per usual, co-main main. Ludwig Klein, Matthias Gamrot. They've got Gamrot coming in as a minus 160 favorite, with the surgeon Ludwig Klein as a plus 135 underdog. Dude's on a fucking tear. 7 fights. I mean, he's looking good, so it makes sense that they've got the odds that close, even though we've seen the kind of wars that Matus will put himself into to win a fight. So that one's going to be interesting. Keep your fucking eyes on it. Now, for the takedown specialist and the air puncher themselves, Aaron Blanchfield and Macy Barber, the air quotes main event of the evening. Got Blanchfield, the takedown specialist, coming in as a minus 235 favorite over the longtime off air puncher herself, Macy Barber. coming in as a plus 195 underdog. So a little wider than a coin flip, but I mean, those odds do kind of add up with Macy being off so long. And well, we know she's going to punch a lot of air. It's just what she does. So, like I said, for the most part, the odds on this card, very coin flippy or close to coin flippy. Things will get way more interesting next week when we have UFC 316 because there's some preliminary odds out there that are already way wider than any of the odds on this fucking card. So, just an FYI, we can look forward to much funner odds to talk about next week. But last chance, go join Tapology. It's free. I know you sons of bitches like free because you're watching us for free. Otherwise, you'd be part of the Patreon program, helping us do what we do here. So if you just want to be the free guy who makes a fucking Tapology account and comes and plays with us. You don't even have to tell us who you are. Just come and play. It's fucking free.
Thank you very much, sir. Much appreciated as always. And with that being said, that is going to be all we have got for this particular episode. So, first and foremost, thank you to everyone who tuned in, whether you are an old time subscriber or a brand new person finding this goofy ass show somehow. Either way, we appreciate you just the same. If you like what we get up to around here, please give us a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe no matter what platform you are getting this on. Make sure your notifications are turned on so you don't miss any more of the shenanigans that come out from us. The opposite side of that coin, if you don't like what we get up to around here, first and foremost, what the fuck are you still doing this deep into a podcast you don't enjoy? Give it a thumbs down and then go fuck yourself. We won't even dispute it. That being said, if you are one of those fine folks that do like the shenanigans we get up to around here and you want to help us out, like Golf Team mentioned, patreon.com/I'mNoJoe is the best way to do that. For as little as $1 a month, as much as you are comfortable giving, you get to help us do what we do. And in return, to let everyone know how awesome you are, first and foremost, we put your name at the end of every broadcast on this channel to let everyone know that you are one of the folks that help us kick ass and take names. On top of that, we also give you unrestricted access to the behind the scenes shenanigans, the unaired and unairable content, things that may or may not have gotten us kicked off of OnlyFans. But that is only for the folks that help us do what we do around here, the folks who get in on Patreon. So if you can do that and you would like to, head on over. Links are in the description no matter where you are consuming this. That being said, when we wrap the show up around here, that is not the end of the fun because tomorrow and pretty much every Friday, this gentleman, wait, where's he at? No, he's over there. This gentleman over here and his other half are going to drop their podcast, the Slow Bake and Contemplate podcast, over on Spreaker.com. So you can check out the link to their podcast as well as their social media and their very own channel on the I'm No Joe Discord server. All down in the description, whether you're watching this or listening to it. Either way, it's all down there. Go click the links. Tell them how awesome they're doing.
Appreciate you, brother. Fun never fucking stops there. Every fucking Wednesday night, you gotta check out the Brother Golf T Vapes fucking show. Foggy Fairway, man. Check out the Golf T Vapes YouTube channel. Around 9 o'clock every Wednesday night. If you're into the vapes, you want to learn some new recipes or mixes, you tune in, check that shit out. Show the brother some love. Everything should be down in the description for him as well.
Fuck yeah, thank you, sir. Now, for those of you who don't know, Meter does more than one thing. In fact, he does many things. If you go down below, you can go to Linktree/The Meter Does Many Things or Linktree/I'm No Joe. Each and every one of those two links will take you to every one of the things that the meter does do. So when you've got some downtime between all of the shenanigans and fuckery in your life, go blow off some steam. And a little birdie told me there was a video that dropped yesterday over on his other channel. But you know, I'm just saying, you pay attention, you have the bell, you'll know. Also, one last thing I do want to shout out. I'm going to see if I eat crow again next week. Stay tuned.
But I wanted to do hood rat stuff with my friend.
Oh, thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. Thank you. So, that being said, that is all we have got for this particular episode of the I'm No Joe podcast. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you just the same. And remember, boys and girls, don't let ignorance stop you. You can root for anything.
Everybody was kung fu fighting. Those kids were fast as lightning. In fact, it was a little bit frightening.
Say goodbye to what we had. The good times that made us laugh.